Wisconsin off its first Big Ten loss of the year. That was at Purdue on Sunday, 66-55. Ohio State 0-3 in the league for the first time since 1998. What do they have to do to make this upset happen?
Yeah, the biggest thing, they're having a tough time, Jace, which is playing 40 full minutes.
Yep.
They can't take time off, particularly on the road against a very good basketball team. And I think they have to run. When they run, they're much better. And, and this is a tough opponent for anybody. I think we both agree that this is probably, along with Purdue right now, these talent-wise and experience-wise, the two best teams in the league. Although I don't know anymore with the results every night. Nice screen inside, by the way.
Saw Michigan State just get a big win yesterday against Minnesota. Topsy-turvy year in the Big Ten as Ethan Happ, who lives in the paint, is walled off. Got it away, though, and a beautiful assist to Showalter.
Patience in the post. Cutters in the post. Great cut to the basket by Caden. And they left him naked. As soon as you take your eye off your man, basket cut. Terrific play. When they get the ball in the post, they've already proven they're something like 19% better.
Ethan Happ, too, has his assist total already this year is above what he had all last season, as that, too, goes in for Jaquan Lyle, the instant scorer for Ohio State.
Yeah, and I'm not sure they want to give up. They want to give up jump shots to Ohio State, not drives. One thing Ohio State does very well, very athletic, and really take it to the post.
They have 3 or 4 guys that can get to the basket.
They're a tough out.
Nigel Hayes goes to work over Tate.
Yeah, Nigel Hayes, when he makes those kind of shots, he's really tough to guard because he can take you outside, he can take you inside. Once again, you kind of see the game plan. 2 possessions, 2 post passes, 2 scores.
You know better than anybody. Wisconsin knows what they want to do offensively. You've seen them for years. As that goes off Thompson's hands, he gets it back in the post and scores. Trevor Thompson, the junior.
Yeah, kind of a quick 3, I thought, and got bailed out because Wisconsin unusually didn't box out. They box out. And normally are very good at the mind game. By that I mean they do all the small things that make a difference.
One of the best defensive rebounding teams in the country, top 5 in the nation. As that's short, but an offensive rebound for the Badgers. Third chance is good, and a foul. Vito Brown in the low block.
What do we say? Stay with it, stay with it, stay with it. And he did. And I just think there's so many kids miss a shot, get a shot bothered, and yet Vito, who's been struggling with his shot from the outside, had a chance to talk to him a little bit yesterday. Coach asked me to. Stay with it. You're too good a player. Just keep staying with it. Good things will happen. Stayed with it. Good things happen.
What'd you say to him?
I just said, do not let your jump shot dictate your game. You're too good a player for that. You can do so many other things.
And he did the work there in the post last time.
That's
Hayes with the blow-by and a foul, my goodness.
When I said he's hard to play, he's a tough guard because he can take you in the post, which he's done already. Now he took you from the wing, makes a nice lift fake, and gets baseline. And then, by the way, nice finish at the rim.
How about Nigel Hayes? Last 9 games or so, he has really taken his game inside the arc. And Greg Gard said that was part conversation with him and part Nigel Hayes just buying into it.
Well, I think the idea, we got to remember that he came, they were on a pretty good team with 2 first-round draft choices. 3 guys are now playing in the NBA. So he's had 3 or 4 different roles. In my opinion, his best role is to be the multi-dimensional player.
Bronson Koenig weaving his way and couldn't finish.
Yeah, tough finish. He got bumped. By the way, and I'm watching Thad right now, Mata. He's clapping on the initial forward pass. If they can get the ball in numbers, more numbers than Wisconsin up front, he said, we're just so much better. I said, you got 4 guys that can finish. Very few teams have 4 guys that can finish like that. When they run, as I said to you before the game, they're a whole different team. I mean, they're okay set offense. They're really good in the open court, and they can defend.
Well, we saw it last Thursday against Purdue. That's how they opened up the game against the Boilermakers.
Yeah, and they had a chance to win the game midpoint. They kind of, down the stretch, lost a tough game by 1 point. But when they run, they're a good basketball team.
2 for 2 for Jayshawn Tate, the Ohio native. He has 4 of the 6 so far for Ohio State at 0-3 in the league for the first time since the late 90s.
And this league is not going to give you any breaks. Nice spin.
Ethan Happ half.
Good shot,
get the
though.
roll. Second chance.
Am I going to say stay with it again? Yeah, I am, and I should, because this game is made about staying with the next play, staying with full 40 minutes, staying with a missed shot, and that's what good teams do.
Well, what I like is you're staying with it.
You're right. You're right. Right.
Take your own advice.
Exactly. I do talk to myself occasionally. Ask all my friends and my wife.
8 points the paint already for Wisconsin, and Greg Gard in his first full season after taking over about 5 games in for Bo Ryan last year. You spent some time with Greg Gard yesterday at practice.
I spent an hour after practice because he wanted to talk basketball. And I was so, it's a compliment to me in the sense of I felt it's nice that he wants to. But he just wanted to talk from a guy who had done it for a lot of years. And what do you think, Coach? And, I do think a lot, good, bad, or indifferent. But more importantly, to have someone just talk basketball is so much fun.
Especially at a younger head coach, as that's an air ball from Showalter, just taking it in. That's what we've heard, is he is a sponge.
Oh, he's 17, 18 years coaching. He's already coached before. And as an assistant now 2 years ahead, won 28 games. But he's like every good coach I've ever met. I remember going down and seeing Dean Smith when I was 31 years old, and Dean, God rest his soul, spending days there with Eddie Fogler and Roy Williams and late Bill Guthridge. It was like 3 days of heaven for me. I learned so much just being around them, watching their culture grow. Great.
Can't put a price on it.
No, you can't. And I tell people it's their experience, and that's why we all have so much to do to learn the game from each other, share the game.
We're going to learn the game from 2 greats, noon Eastern on Saturday. Duke and Louisville. It's a Sonic blockbuster. Grayson Allen and the Blue Devils. Rick Pitino's Cardinals from the Yum Center on ESPN, also streaming live.
By the way, who's doing that game?
I don't know, actually.
Okay,
I'm there on Thursday.
Oh, I'm trying to give you a build-up here.
Thank you.
As usual, a day late, I shot that one. But
A couple days early and maybe a couple dollars short.
Yeah.
There's the block
I'll make
inside.
it for you after. I owe you $2. All right?
Thank you.
Hey, by the way, Hap did a great job using his body, but then a real good closeout by Thomas. By the way, Thomas is a good player. Thomas, in my opinion, just my opinion, I think on Ohio State, most talented.
There's Vito Brown down low. Thompson had vacated, and Brown scores.
Layup on a second chance and a basket cut to the rim. Doesn't need his jump shot right now. He's contributing greatly to the Wisconsin cause.
8 second chance points already for the Badgers out of 12. As there's a block downstairs by Brown. He pried it loose, and it's saved.
And you talked about it before, Jason. Wisconsin has a very good awareness of rebounding. They really do. People say that they go after it. They do. And they box out. And they do. Good pass.
Koenig for Happ. Off the spin, Ethan Happ. Beautifully done.
You know where the left hand came from? He plays right-handed golf. Each left-handed. I mean, he told me he reads right-handed. I didn't quite get that one. But most importantly, he's ambidextrous, and you can see it in his game. He's fun to watch for. Unusual player in this day and age.
Seems like he's a little freed up, too, from not having to deal with Isaac Haas for Purdue last weekend.
That's a lot to deal with at 290, and I'm a fan of another post-up. Nice pass.
And spun in by Hayes.
They are living in the paint. There's got to be a better way. My way would either, you can't sag off the top. You've got a ball pressure at the top. You cannot allow those passes, what I call them naked passes, halfway in between your man. He passes the ball to the post too easy. And you got to at least get a side front in the post. I don't think Ohio State can win if they keep allowing those post passes.
Second chance there for Jayshawn Tate off the miss from Lyle.
Oh, I believe in Ohio State. They definitely can win, but they can't keep allowing those post passes. That's too easy, and you're going to get in foul trouble. Bad things happen when that ball gets that easy to the post.
Top 5 offense in the Big Ten as well for Wisconsin. About 76 points a game for the Badgers. So they can score, certainly. And in this series, Ohio State has really struggled to put the ball in the basket in recent years. Open 3 for Lyle, Jaquan Lyle.
And the more they move the ball, the better they are. That was just great ball movement. And that's what you got to see from Ohio State, and I'm sure Thad's yelling that now. Now they got to tighten up on this end.
So you're saying push it, half court?
Push it. If you don't have, probe it. I think people think break is the classic 3-on-2. I think much more so. Come down, look. Someone makes a mistake, hit him. If not, because the defense, get the defense before it's not set. Numbers, or they're not set.
And there's Lyle backing it off with a defense set. He goes to work on Happ and leaves it down low for Thompson.
Well, we talked about post passes. Well, guess what? Post penetration, a very dangerous thing. That's a terrific job. They can do that at 2 or 3 different positions.
And timeout, Wisconsin. It's a 7-0 run for the Buckeyes. But Ethan Happ, one of those wheels you were talking about to stabilize Wisconsin, already a strong night.
He's a good one. And Happ, when he makes them go, they go.
And Nigel Hayes certainly helps. 16-14 Wisconsin.
The attitude. I thought Ohio State, for a team that this is semi-must win, was loose. That's not bad in some ways. You don't want them so tight that you can play them like a violin either.
Are you saying you didn't know when your team was going to have a good day out of your shoot-around?
Some of the best shoot-arounds they ever had, we weren't very good.
Is that right?
Yeah. But occasionally there's certain signs you don't like. Not paying attention. And I like energy. If I have energy, we're going to be fine. Good defense.
Cam Williams had the knockaway for the moment for Ohio State, as Wisconsin has Khalil Iverson, the sophomore, into the game. He enters it in for Happ on the kick out. Hayes didn't get the roll.
But it's a good shot and everything but in. And I love, once again, the kick out pass inside out.
Jordan Hill with the save at the end line to get the ball back for Wisconsin, the junior out of Pasadena.
By the way, 14 out of the 16 points for Wisconsin in the paint.
Thad Matta's doing his Calhoun impersonation
well,
already.
I don't know about his kids. I know one thing Thad knows, because Thad's a terrific coach. And by the way, as good a person he's going to find, one of my favorite coaches, without question. He knows it's a very important game.
Happ had it blocked by Potter, the freshman for Ohio State, but the open three for Demetric Trice goes down.
And what Trice did, he set his feet. He cut the ball, didn't just shoot it, set his feet, then shot it. Plenty of time. Good play. They need that of him off the bench. He's that quicker point guard off the bench. And if he makes shots like that, he makes them a better team.
37 threes taken. He is the best three-point shooter percentage-wise in the Big Ten. The younger brother of former Michigan State Spartan Travis Trice.
I remember Travis very, very well. Good player. And once again, he's a kid that can provide. And this is where kids don't realize their value sometimes. Something they need. Quickness at the point guard spot.
Can we do your hair like Demetric Trice?
Well, I've thought a great deal about it. I never got any farther than that, though.
You didn't?
No, I didn't farther than the thought process. It seemed like a bad idea the more I thought about it.
You're an astute guy, you know that?
Well, we try.
Tate was walled off and he traveled. Jayshawn Tate turns it over. Wisconsin, by the way, 9 field goals, no turnovers so far.
By the way, the other thing is I love the officiating. Pat Driscoll and company that time, and I'll complain when they aren't good. But they let them bang. 2 kids bang, they let them bang. I mean, no big deal. I always like advantage, disadvantage. That's where this game is going to be called. Meaning, if in fact someone, offense or defense, gets a disadvantage or an advantage, then you should call a foul on them. Otherwise, this is a contact sport, not a collision sport. Like, there's plenty of contact right there. By the way, terrific job on Happ thus far. That's 3 times he's got a piece of the ball.
There's Mark Loving for 2 on the layup, and that's Potter, by the way, the freshman, Micah Potter on Happ.
Michael Potter came into the Purdue game, and my eyes lit up and said, who is this kid? I'd seen him in the scouting reports in practice, but who is this kid? He's a good player. And for him to handle a tough kid like Happ, he's doing a terrific job. His size seems to bother Happ somewhat.
Listed at 6'9" out of Mentor, Ohio. Greg Gard said maybe I should have recruited him a little more. He might have fit into what we do. But Wisconsin does what it does here at the Kohl Center. Some long win streaks in its history. That is the subject of our
business. But I think the longest win streak we had was somewhere in the 22, 23.
When you were bouncing from building to building.
Yeah, we were, but it wasn't just that. And, still 20, when you get in the 20s, that's not bad. Yeah. But the biggest thing is that the kids feel comfortable. They feel home. Not every team does, by the way. I've had teams who love to be home. Actually, I've had other teams who are great road warriors. I mean, just certain teams.
This building feels like a combination NBA arena and college field house.
Well, it has the college feel when they have all the flags, the big W on it, and whiskey's here and all that kind of stuff. Then you can feel it.
Alex Ilikainen, the sophomore, has checked in out of Grand Rapids. He's getting held by Potter, who's still in for Ohio State. Koenig drive and kick. Hill in the corner. And the rebound for the Buckeyes and Lyle.
But it would give Ohio State in that possession. Very good defense.
Another drive and kick. Loving frees himself and misses. They're getting to the rim, though, the Buckeyes are.
It seems to me, and I think you just said it, if they're not at the rim, they're getting some open looks more so than you normally expect. But as I said, they play with 4 to 5 guys, all who can move very well.
They don't have that typical point guard shooting guard, small
exactly
forward
right.
thing.
Exactly right. It's for, they don't even have a pure point guard. They have 4 guys who can play on the perimeter.
Koenig has to save it, 4 to shoot for Hill. He notices and knocks it down.
Well, it's nice you notice, but more importantly, in a basketball game, you see 3 seconds. I hope, I hope you notice, but more importantly, good reactions. And once again, it wasn't a forced shot. What it was a good shot under duress.
You've had it enough times, though, in your coaching career, the guy hasn't noticed.
And then I noticed, which caused a chain reaction of nothing but bad things for at least 30 seconds.
So Hill squares up the 3. He's got a couple of them in the game. Came in with just 3 for his
usually
season.
start off with it. So you didn't notice that 3 and 2 on the clock. Yeah, you're going to tell me that, right? So tell me what you're looking at with the ball in your hand.
They're just giant red lights, Coach.
I know that. They mean a lot. Trust me. They do mean a lot. Since it's only my life, my livelihood.
That's all.
And our team. Now the post up. Everybody posts. Everybody posts.
Iverson didn't hit rim. This is out of bounds to the Buckeyes. We remind you that our next NBA Friday doubleheader starts in the Eastern Conference. 2 of the top 4 teams in the East, Celtics and the Hawks. The Al Horford revenge game. Then at 10:30, Pistons and Jazz. That's our NBA Friday doubleheader. Starts with NBA Countdown at 7, charged by Mountain Dew.
Both teams look like they practiced. By that I mean they're doing what they did this morning and yesterday.
Staying within the game plan.
Yeah, they kind of knew what they wanted to do. And right now, I don't think it's a bad shot. It's not a great shot. They could have got a little more movement. When feet move, I'm talking about defensive feet, they make mistakes. When they stand still, they're set. And so what you want to do is not have one pass or one dribble.
There's Koenig walling off to score with the left hand.
And he's a terrific player. I mean, really good player. And he's over 1,000-point scorer and so on. I think he can do more.
You do?
Oh, yeah, he's really good.
76 straight starts for Bronson
and
Koenig.
he should be 76, and he played on tremendous teams, Final Four teams. I think the biggest thing is that he's capable of so much more. And on this team, no one's going to dominate. I understand that. But I'd like to see him occasionally just bust off like he just did there and get it to the rim.
Drive and kick from Lyle into the corner. And C.J. Jackson couldn't knock down the 3.
And you called it out. You said they're going to have good rebound position, and they do.
And one of the top teams in the country, defensive rebound percentage, Wisconsin. Koenig probing, and he got position again.
The more he does that, I bet you his jump shot will fall, or you may not have to even take one. If you're taking layups, that's pretty good.
18 points in the paint, no turnovers for Wisconsin.
Well, and the middle's open, and as we said before, except for Thomas, there isn't a rim protector for Ohio State. Actually, for both teams, the rim is moderately open.
Lyle the kick, Jackson the look.
Just not sure good battle.
Andre Wesson, the freshman, punching at it, and here comes Vito Brown for Wisconsin.
And you got to stay with it. You got to pursue the ball, and you just got to make sure you have it in your hands. I was going to see what they do as they move that ball around, and they all made their decisions.
All decided to give up the shot.
I saw the cut coming early.
It was Hill, couldn't finish.
Good play. They weak side cut, Jace, so well. It's just a read. No one's telling him to play. It's a read.
Oh, we saw that with Happ a bunch of times in the Purdue game over the weekend. Though they didn't win, he was moving quite well without the ball.
He moves well, but when they post it up with Happ, Hayes, they do a terrific job of moving.
Balanced scoring as well for Wisconsin. 7 different guys are in the points column. Everybody likes to post up. You said it. Koenig now.
Well, I saw them in practice, and we'll talk about practice later during the broadcast, about the unusual start of practice for Wisconsin. But they want to get the ball to the post, and they have a great idea how to attack with the ball.
He put out his release today. 8 Big Ten teams, and by the way, Duke and Louisville, two of those tournament teams.
Yeah, the ACC is really loaded. But I'll tell you what, when this season ends up, I wouldn't be surprised if the Big Ten can look at 6 to 7. And, you know, and someone's going to, you know, all those teams that are playing each other in the ACC, logic tells me some will win and some will lose. Therefore, there may not be 10 teams.
That's right.
The most I was ever associated was the Big East in 2011, and we had 11 out of 16 go.
Is that good of a league that year?
It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. So many good teams.
Saw Thad Matta over on the sideline. He was working that gum pretty well. I love the story he told you earlier.
Juicy fruit.
Yeah, Thad Matta says, you know, sometimes he forgets in game as Thompson has it blocked and a whistle. He's going to the free throw line. Thad Matta said, look, sometimes in game, because you were talking to him about his kind of yelling on the bench last week. He said,
It's teaching, you mean?
Yeah, it's teaching.
Teaching.
He says he forgets sometimes what's going on the bench. So there was one game back when he was a younger coach, the gum popped out of his mouth. He went and picked the gum up off the floor and called his mom after the game. And she said, what are you doing putting the gum back in your mouth after it's on the floor? And he said, I didn't do that, did I? He completely forgot.
I think those things could happen. I mean, they're not really blackouts. They're just momentary memory lapses.
So that happened to you?
Well, no. I chewed gum, and I did get sent the same thing. I got sent the whole...
I mean, the forgetting.
Oh, the forgetting. Unfortunately, I remembered. That was those nights I didn't sleep as well. I said that? Really? Come on, folks.
Loving the rebound as Wisconsin's been playing without Zach Showalter. He's on the bench with 2 personal fouls. Brevin Pritzel, who's been injured, as the Lyle jumper goes in. Thad Matta is quite pleased now.
I like what Thad did. No more jump shots right now, fellas. We're not making jump shots. Let's take the ball back inside. We started out, it was 14-16 because we took the ball back inside.
There's Happ, left it short.
Here's when they're at their best. When they're running, you might get hit from behind. Great hustle.
Thad can only anticipate as here comes Wisconsin.
He's a shooter, too. As you know, he broke his foot before the Syracuse game last year in the first game of the season. What a rebound. By the way, he has mitts. I mean, baseball mitts. I mean, his hands engulf the ball. He's a good jumper. And he's not a spectacular jumper, but he beats other folks off the floor. He's high, but not that high. But if he's up there before you are, he's going to get it. I love the way he chases the ball.
See the efficiency for Wisconsin. They came in 16th best in offensive efficiency in the country. And it doesn't get much better than that right there. 12 field goals, no turnovers, 6 assists.
It really does. And Ethan has one weakness. He's doing it right now. I mean, he gets fouled a lot. He's going to make more than 56%. Last year he made 62. He's better than that. And it's a confidence, and you can tell.
Especially how much he's in the lane. He's going to get fouled.
What a great rebound.
Hayes starts it. Through Pritzel and Koenig to Nigel Hayes again, and it pinned.
I should apologize to say that Ohio State has now either bothered or blocked a heck of a lot of shots.
They're team protecting the rim right now.
I'll tell you what, there's no doubt in my mind they're playing incredibly hard.
There's another one from behind for Tate.
Well, once again, you know, Wisconsin's not an explosive team, so they're not up there dunking it. And, you know, give Ohio State. I mean, Ohio State is playing like a team that kind of knows where it is and needs to get a win.
0-3, as we mentioned, first time since '98 in the Big Ten, a league that doesn't have a lot of teams that struggle. As that goes in for Koenig.
When it rains, it pours, they used to say. Well, that was really good defense. With 2 seconds left on the shot clock.
Right in front of the bench for good measure, by the way.
I might have said something. I'm just hoping there wasn't a microphone there.
Taken away by Koenig. In a hurry, Koenig had it blocked. Nearly a goaltend. And here comes Ohio State with Williams, and Loving took his eyes off it. Ragged possession. Ends up with Lyle. Williams gets by Hayes and can't score. Pritzel back from injury with the rescue. Up to Nigel Hayes. To the rack he goes. And a foul.
I'll tell you what. To not undercount how hard Ohio State is playing. Conversely, their decisions right now offensively just aren't good. Jason just isn't good. I mean, they're trying like crazy. They competed down here. They blocked 4 or 5 shots in the last 2 possessions, yet aren't taking the kind of shots to finish that kind of play.
You usually see the defense turn into offense. That's not happening tonight.
No, because the offense is loose. They're taking kind of what's there as opposed to making something show. You got to force the defense to commit to something and take the opposite.
So who's the guy in Ohio State you want to do that?
Team.
Who leads that charge?
Well, because of the way they play, between Lau, Tate, they're going to have the ball an awful lot. It isn't like, as you said, they have one defined point guard. They really don't. There's no doubt they'd like Jefferson to be, they'd love him to be, Jackson, excuse me, to be the point guard. But right now, that's not how they play.
Loving trying to put the shoulder under Iverson.
Tell you what, that was really good defense. And then actually, you know, they got the ball into the paint. If you can get the ball in the paint through pass or dribble, they're a much better team. We said that early. They've kind of gone away from that. They're not going to beat, I don't believe, tonight, Wisconsin in a three-point shooting contest. That's not happening, especially because right now Wisconsin's getting the ball into the post, and you're taking, in my opinion, not as good shots. When they get the ball in the paint, as I said, good things are happening to them.
So Thompson with the make there. He's had a strong night so far. Trevor Thompson, whose father Ryan won a World Series with the Yankees in 2000.
You know, his father, I'm sure, was a nice guy, except for the fact of being a Yankee, Bostonian, and Red Sox.
You're going to be okay?
I'm going to be okay, but
you guys won enough, all right?
No, we haven't. But regardless of that, there's never enough. But most importantly, Thompson is a really good player. As I said, I think he may be the most talented guy in that team.
Kick from half to the top, and Hill has been lethal today.
You know, I love and I never did as much. And once again, they want to play their 10 kids down to 8. They can get 10, be wonderful. But tonight, the bench has come off and given a nice lift to keep that lead at a pretty good size. Jordan
Hill, whose minutes spiked last year once Greg Gard took over as the head coach. There's Thompson, spun it out. Happ got a hand on it, and here comes Ethan Happ.
By the way, Happ gets a hand on a lot of basketballs. You know, that's almost like being redundant. He feels it.
Koenig!
I could tell what he was doing, Jace. He got him, he's lining him up, step back 3. He felt it.
You called it. He wanted it. He got it, and we'll toss it to Chris Cotter. 40-22. 25 points so far for the 3 big guns, Happ, Hayes, and Koenig. (40-22) Wisconsin with the lead.
Well, the big 3 is being the big 3. The 2 wheels and the big wheel are all doing their job.
What did Tina Turner say? Big wheel keeps on turning?
Keeps on turning. I tell you what, they opened the game up really well by going into the post. And eventually...
Loving sinks the 3. He has 5.
Yeah, he's, as I said, somehow he's got to utilize himself more, but his team has got to find him more. He can really stroke it.
Honorable mention all Big Ten last year.
As well he should be. He's one of the better shooters in the league.
Backdoor lob goes awry and recovered. Iverson couldn't stick it in. Wisconsin will keep it.
You know, they've missed some close-up shots, but give a little credit to Ohio State. Ohio State, I know 40 points sounds funny. It's their offense that's causing a lot of their defensive problems.
So it's better Wisconsin offense than bad defense, what you're saying?
Well, 36-21 in shots. The team has 15 more shots than you. You're in trouble. Their offensive rebounding, their defensive rebounding, hasn't been good. But as much as anything else, I mean, their offensive execution has been disappointing for them. I'm sure. Great tip in.
Second chance for Nigel Hayes off his own miss.
If memory serves me correct, that's the 8th point, 4th time. The guy has missed a shot and gone back up and in and got his own rebound. They're going to have to clamp down the boards. I mean, we're saying a lot of different things here, and I think they're working, but they've got to have more purpose in their work, not just work.
Nigel Hayes, by the way, just got a warning from the officiating crew after his make and a little post-play activity.
No. That's a bad shot. Given the circumstances, you kind of get your way back in here a little bit. You don't want to separate this late.
By the way, rifle through your mind, when was the last Wisconsin turnover in this game?
I don't remember one.
Yeah, you're right. It hasn't happened yet. How about that? 18 and a half minutes without a turnover for The Badgers and Happ.
Nice basket cut.
Another
Travel.
nice drop off, but a travel for Iverson.
Yeah.
And there is turnover number 1.
Well,
Send it to the
I am glad
Smithsonian.
I'm not putting a jinx on anybody. You know?
You're blaming me.
Well, I mean, you said turnover. Kid looked over here just slightly, lost his vision, and turned it over.
Oh, so not only is it my fault, but I drew his attention.
Well, the referee didn't look at you, so
I
it's
see.
not a foul.
Thank you. Thank you. You set me up to have my back later. I appreciate that.
Something like that, yeah.
Here's Loving, had his pass intercepted. Happ behind the back and figured I got to get that out.
He won't shoot a 15-foot jump shot. He'll go half court.
Oh, Jordan Hill's feeling it. Brown got a hand on it, and Wisconsin will reset.
We've been saying that a lot.
Oh,
They get a hand on the second
offensive
shots.
rebounding.
This has really been not very good. Oof. But patience, patience, patience.
Happ working on Thompson, and he'll go to the free throw line. Ethan Happ, such a sleek post player.
Yeah, and you know the thing about him? Not spectacular, but relentless. I mean, he's going to keep trying every angle. He uses his hips, his shoulders to get by you. I honestly, he's very unique. You don't see many players like him, and he's eventually going to get the angle to make the layup or get fouled. I like him a lot.
4 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, nearly 3 assists a game. That is a boatload of dimes for the kid from Rock Ridge High School.
Yeah, the young man from Rock Ridge. The one thing, because he's so gifted and such a hard worker. In practice yesterday, he won every sprint, 2 hours, every sprint.
Everyone.
Yeah, I'd like to see him stay half an hour after and shoot foul shots because he's really a talented kid and he gives so much to this team.
Thompson takes a seat for Ohio State. It's funny, you're talking about Happ's conditioning. He doesn't take a whole lot of shots outside the lane. He said he might think about doing more of it because he's only got to run back a little bit like 60 feet on defense when he takes a shot from outside as that one bounces in for Lyle.
Yeah, and it's a play on like the game has been. But now that to me, advantage, disadvantage. You know, who had the advantage was the disadvantage created by the elbow.
So you say no call there.
I'm not so sure. I think the disadvantage is the defense by being pushed back is a disadvantage.
You're calling for more whistles. This is new.
No, less. Less, if I can, please.
20 seconds to go. First half. Wisconsin trying to make it 16 straight home wins. Koenig erupts for 3.
Under the screen. You can't go under the screen.
And a foul on Hayes there. Here's a look at it.
It looks like to me he went behind the screen. Let's see what happens. Yep. He leaned against it and never ever got over the top of it to go play his man. And the secondary defender stayed back on a real good three-point shooter.
You're talking about 1-2 steps difference there, right?
All he had to do was step up to dissuade that shot.
5 seconds to go. Lyle against Brown. Lyle the kick into the corner. Tate. And that'll do it for the first half. Wisconsin demolishing Ohio State in the paint. Bronson Koenig, 15 points the last 9 minutes, and Wisconsin with a big advantage as we go to Chris Cotter in the
Secondly, if they don't stop rebounding, I'm talking about Wisconsin, Ohio State, in my opinion, can't win that way either. They've got to lay a body on somebody and grab those rebounds. Right now, the second chance points are 15 points.
on second chance.
On second chance points, that can't happen. It's unexcusable. And if you're shooting 2 for 10 from the 3, you got to find better ways to score. They can win this game, but they're going to have to take those areas. Run, rebound, and make sure, okay, make sure we stop the post. Ball pressure or half front, but you can't let it in there naked.
Here's Trevor Thompson, the junior, off the spin, and he lipped it out.
They did the right thing, though. So as opposed to trying to do something all around, they just isolated the post and went right to it.
By the way, Wisconsin in the first half played 17 minutes without Zach Showalter, the senior guard. He was on the bench with 2 personal fouls.
And didn't they get a great result off the bench, though? I am sure that's something that's going to only make Greg happy. Hey, you know,
Vito Brown for 3.
Am I watching a clinic here? I mean, I tell you
so.
what, I mean, that ball goes to the post, and I'm waiting for the 3-point shot before it gets passed out. Once they sink you in, they do a wonderful job of that. And in Ohio State's really struggling with it, go down and double. In my opinion, they should put more pressure on the post pass, not allowed to get there that easily.
Hard into the paint for Lyle, and Happ clears the rebound.
Happ, by the way, I think has double-figure rebounds his last 2 rebounds. Happ You look at the rim, you see a pair of hands up there. Normally they're his. He's a quick jumper.
Gigantic hands, too, for Ethan Happ. Oh, boy, Vito Brown is lighting it up.
And I know what it happens when things aren't going well. Dad Marty's saying he's been struggling. Not now. He made layups early, second chance points early, drives to the basket early, and now he gets the open three and bangs it.
The former youth singer, Vito Brown. His family was a group of musicians called Shades of Brown. Nigel Hayes, little show and go into the lane, lost it.
But even though he lost the ball, he did wait and make a judgment. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a wild shot.
Loving missed it, and Ohio State, even the open looks aren't
Yeah,
falling.
you can't really complain about that one. He's the best shooter. Oh, how to run the floor. Just a little more, get up a little air on that thing.
Vito Brown from three, struggled a little bit earlier this year.
Oh, I like this. And, you could tell he got confident, squared himself up, made the shot. Don't let him do it again. Bang.
Did the Calhoun family ever have a singing group like the Brown family?
My son Jim can sing. Jeff and I kind of refrain from that activity only because it's not because we don't want to. Because can't do is a better word than want
Is it the
to.
tin ear that's the problem?
Yeah.
Cam Williams, the bucket, his first two of the game for the junior guard for Ohio State.
Good shuffle cut, wide open, another shuffle cut into the post. You can see the shuffle cut coming, and they're getting the ball 6 feet from the basket, and you got to play them.
Wisconsin trying to recover from a rare few turnovers after just one in the first half as Nigel Hayes will go to the free throw line.
We talk about, and I've talked tonight about relentless plays. Stay after it. That's exactly what Wisconsin's doing. They're staying after their game plan. They aren't, because they have a lead right now, a big lead, deviating. They're staying with what is really good with them tonight.
And that will drive coaches crazy when you do fritter away a large lead in the second half, only win by 8 or 9. That'll drive you nuts, right?
It will drive you nuts, but if you win, you're not that nuts. If you lose, nuts is nuts.
It's a shuffle cut you were talking about.
Yeah, I love the shuffle cut. They run those little shuffle cuts to make sure they free up the post, and it's tough to play them. And this guy is tough to play anyways. He's got so much game, and I think as he, in the future, matures his shooting, and that's the one thing he has to do. The arc is way too high, the release is a little, and I know Greg and I talked about that. I think with both teams.
That's pretty fixable, though. Right?
That's funny you should say that. I've seen kids do it at 18, maybe 19, get to be 22, played a lot of games. It's tough to change your gait. Could he fix it? Yeah, to some degree. But he brings a lot of other things to a team. He could be a terrific defensive player. He's a very good passer. Has a great feel for the game. Those things.
There's a third foul on Showalter, by the way, as Cam Williams sticks the jumper, so he has all 4 at halftime for the Buckeyes.
Well, and Cam Williams, the thing he gets his shot off with? Legs.
Yeah.
He elevates so well. I remember the first time that when we got Reggie Lewis, we kept saying about Reggie Lewis and actually Ray Allen, the same way. Both kids could create their own just by their legs. And that's a great gift to have, and you can create by your legs.
A lot of spring.
Nice. Oh, really nice. And squared up and going towards the rim.
Vito Brown demanding the ball, had it blocked by Thompson, who's been very strong defensively.
In a game like this, which right now is a big score, Thompson's had a terrific game. I mean, he's playing like it's a three-point game. It's not over, but still, he's playing every possession the same way.
3 of his last 5 games have been double-doubles. He's nearing one again as Koenig has been merciless from 3.
And when they do that, they're awful tough to beat, because all the other things you and I can say, check, rebounding check, defense check, passing check. And when they make shots, they're awfully good.
We've seen him take over games, whether it be NCAA tournament or Big Ten play.
And I wasn't telling you before he has scored 30. What I was saying to you is he can do these kind of things within games. I don't care if it says 27 at the end, but you hit, as he did near the end of the first half, and now, those are back-breaking shots. They're just trying to find an inch, a foot. Thad and his team is, and he's dashing their hopes in the middle of a game. And I don't think people see that all the time, Jace.
Who was the best guy you ever saw doing that?
Well, I mean, we had a lot of kids that could really score, obviously. I always thought that Richard Hamilton had a good feel about that, and obviously Ray Allen. The guy actually who learned how to do that, particularly his junior year, was Kimball Walker.
Bronson Koenig is absolutely unconscious.
Well, he should put that hand in some ice. No, don't do that. It's on fire, man. I mean, he is stroking it more confidently. You know, I can tell when a guy feels good about a shot. He doesn't take as much time. It's just everything feels like it's going in.
Well, you called that one to the corner in the first
Yeah, well, I
half.
could see he was ready to shoot it.
That two goes for Tate. Bronson Koenig, a little chatter with Cam Williams.
It's always nice to talk to your opponent.
Is that true?
No, it's not, but they do.
Nigel Hayes feeling his way to the bucket for two and a whistle.
They're putting so much pressure on Thompson. He's at the rim. There's nothing more he can do. He's blocked about 5 of them.
Kid from La Crosse, Wisconsin, Bronson Koenig. More daggers from three. Purdue on Sunday, they already outscored themselves in this game. The field goal percentage, threes, they were 2 out of 14. They're 4 for 4 in the second half.
Yeah, but one thing, in fairness to Ohio State, they don't have Haas, who at 7'2", 290 pounds, really bothered the Wisconsin postgame, which in my opinion has been critical tonight. By the way, look, I can't stop my story. I want to stop my story to tell you, if they don't rebound, they're not going to beat a lot of folks.
That's 17 offensive rebounds tonight already. Happ. Oh, nicely done.
He probes you. As soon as something happens, he finds the angle and makes the basket.
He pivots very quickly.
Oh, he does. Well, we'll talk about that later, about practice and pivoting and why he does it so well.
That's what we call a tease in the industry, by the way. Well done.
I know that.
Yeah.
Everybody's anxiously waiting now.
Cam Williams, too long on the three.
Another rebound.
Off the Happ screen, Koenig was fouled. Here's a look at Ethan Happ putting the defense in a blender.
And whether he gets a hip, in that case an elbow, a knee around you, he's got a great feel of that. He's got the old man's game, they said. That's why guys used to play below the rim, but so wonderfully getting their body position.
Thompson thought he might have gotten chicken wing there, wanted a foul.
He and Dad having a discussion about, because he's trying to make, we would both agree, it seems at times that Thompson's the only guy in the middle.
Price gave up on the three, goes cross court for Hayes. Nigel Hayes, nifty!
Oh, when Nigel Hayes does that, boy, he's good. He does a lot of great things. But when I get that hesitation move at 6'9", that's pretty good stuff. By the way, all cylinders. You've seen Wisconsin, the way Wisconsin wants to be.
That's two free throws coming for Potter as we look at Nigel Hayes.
Just watch this. Good job, the closeout, not bad, but then the hesitation move. You don't see many 6'8", 6'9" guys make that kind of move and end up with a strong dunk.
That's the freshman Andre Wesson getting a little bit of a lesson.
I think you'll say, no thank you.
I mean, you talk about what Wisconsin wants to do. This is basically how they would put it on a grease board, right?
Yeah, but they started the game this way. They started the game in the posters, and by doing so, the Ohio State defense sunk down. Then they started getting second shots. Well, if you're sagging in to protect the post and getting beat in the boards, that's not a good thing. Well, they stayed down there, and then all of a sudden, three-point shots started raining, and trouble broke out.
Well, they're outscoring him in the paint as well, 28-12, usually on the average +9 in the paint. Alex Ilakainen figures, why not? That's his third three of the year.
And welcome aboard the train ride, you know what I'm saying? Come aboard, everybody. When it goes, it goes. And think, you mentioned the Purdue game, and Purdue had certainly a lot to do with it, but
Tate
right now, the scouting report doesn't mean all that much. You know, Wisconsin just playing exceptionally well, feeding off each other, and they look like, along with Purdue, as good a team as there's in the league. Trust me, between Maryland and other teams, Indiana, there's other good teams in this league, very good teams. But when they're sufficient, they're tough to beat.
Off the make from Lyle, the miss from Hayes. Wisconsin trying to get to 3-1 in the Big Ten, and that's an absolute crowbar away by Showalter.
That was either going to be a pull away or a travel. That was really the defense. Straight dead in front of him.
Wisconsin, best scoring defense in the Big Ten, about 60 points a game. And by the way, 7 of the last 8 meetings, they've held Ohio State under 60 points.
Well, you know, generally speaking, last couple of years particularly, it's been a semi-big team against a small team. And they have a great sense of how to defend them. By the way, those shuffle cuts, I should remember, are not big on big. They're a small man running a shuffle cut. Small man sets the screen. Now the switch has to be little man on big. Well, that's not going to work. So you can see the holding grabbing on that. The swing offense does work.
With a little bit of a twist with Greg Gard. It's not exactly the same as they ran with Bo Ryan. Illikainen. Uh-oh. It's just fun time now for the Badgers.
It's always fun when the ball drops. And he's a good shooter.
Potter has 5 here in the second half.
Well, you know, and I like the way he played, particularly I love the way he played against Purdue. I mean, he fought like crazy. He's going to be a very good player. Only a freshman. He's got a chance to be very good.
Well, he came out of that timeout when Thad Matta was frustrated, scored 5 in a row.
That's right. Exactly right.
For the Buckeyes in that loss, which was very close to a victory. Had they made free throws down the stretch, might have stolen that one from the Boilermakers. Little step back. Illikainen working hard, and a rim run blocked away by Potter.
What happened? They stopped playing.
One of the only times Wisconsin stopped playing all night long.
Exactly.
69-41, the Badgers, a big lead at home.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college.
At the place where you coached your last game, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, Yum Yum Center wasn't so yum that day. Didn't taste good at all, matter of fact. But most importantly, it's a heck of a basketball facility, and you get 2 terrific teams. I mean, 2 terrific teams.
Who would you take in that game, if forced?
If forced, it's really hard. I mean, obviously Rick's got his team playing as well as you could possibly. I'm going to take Duke just on a gut instinct. They haven't played quite as well. We've got to remember, they still have great talent. And the thing they think they might, and Louisville plays great defense, but they might be able to do against Louisville, score. And if they score, you know, they can go with anybody.
Well, you've seen it too over the course of your career, whether it be opponents or you stepping aside for a game or two. When you've got a new coach in there, all bets are off. Showalter the lob, Iverson the hammer.
Everybody's having fun except for the Ohio State kids and Thad Matta. I mean, as I said, I think every coach who's ever sat on that bench over there has felt this kind of pain where everything we do isn't good enough and everything you do is too good. I mean, you know, I'm going to go back to the beginning of the game, middle of the first half, and the way they come out and they give no chance to the Ohio State team.
I mean, this was 16-7 right off the jump. Ohio State came back with a 7-0 run, and then Wisconsin ran away.
Yeah, they did. But even at halftime, you know, up 16 or 18, wherever it was, I mean, I certainly thought that Wisconsin was in a comfortable position. But the onslaught of which they've done since then has been absolutely, once again, if you have to play them, kind of eye-opening, because when they play like this, they're awfully good.
This is a pretty good job of running the break, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and I told you, this is the kind of finish I like. We don't have to worry too much about the misses that way when you're looking down at the rim.
When you were coaching, it was plays of the week, but this is an SC top 10 nominee.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Well, I mean, it's nice. It's nice, and I appreciate the effort. But
What do you want him to do, a handstand beforehand or what?
Well, I don't know.
The bench loved it.
I mean, we see, you know what? Let me tell you, I could give a top 10 to watching Greg Gard's practice yesterday. First 10 minutes, they open up one-on-one, whole team lined up.
Wisconsin you're talking about.
Wisconsin, excuse me, with lift fakes. No, lift fakes. It is so good at Cranberry. It seems to be the argument between producer and analyst.
You know who wins? The tape room wins because
Well, the
we see
guy
it
who keeps
again.
playing it is going to win every single time. Rodney, I bow to you, sir. But the most important thing, getting back to the lift fakes and the things we watch Wisconsin do.
In practice yesterday.
In practice, first 10 minutes, Jace, that's what they did.
Just technique.
They all technique, and you say, I did this when I was a high school coach. But you know what? You watch the things they do tonight, from the passes to the bounce pass to feed the post to breaking pressure. And then they worked really hard, as I said before, on feeding the post, as we just see right now, DeVito Brown.
Using the shoulder, Brown rolls it in.
And by the way, everybody's saying, well, he's up big. Why is he doing that? DeVito Brown? Because DeVito Brown's been struggling, and I only have 2 hours at a time to teach my kids. I think right now, obviously you want to be good sports, but the responsibility, okay, for his team is right now great guard. The responsibility for Thad's team is his team. You're not ever going to try to embarrass anybody with the game and all that type of thing, but conversely, you only have so many live action, 17,000 people, national television to teach your kids. And you can, practice is wonderful and prepares you, no question in my mind. But I think that somewhere in them, okay.
Ooh, that's a big hit by Showalter down low. Got the knee into Jackson.
It's funny, because every time I see Showalter and Caden, they're much better athletes than we think, right? I mean, they're easy jumpers. I mean, this is with Trice, too. Pretty athletic backcourt.
This Wisconsin team looking to go to 3-1 in the Big Ten. You look at some of these teams in the Big Ten at the top of the league. Yeah, it's been topsy-turvy, but there may be 6 or 7 possible Sweet 16 teams.
Well, can you imagine Indiana playing them tonight, trying to run up and down? You have a battle of wills. Can you imagine a Maryland team with Trimble who can really control the pace at Indiana? At Maryland. So we go through Purdue. Had a heck of a game already. Yep. So you start to envision this Big Ten season is getting more exciting by the moment, and this is not a good effort, certainly by Ohio State. Their effort actually wasn't bad. The mental preparation, in my opinion, let's give the credit to what they wanted to do. Talking with Greg Gard last night, they knew exactly what they wanted to do. They weren't pros, they could do it, but they had game plan A, B, and C, and A really worked.
Balanced scoring as well. That pass from Hill leads to a long 3 from Thomas. And here come the Buckeyes, always willing to attack Jayshawn Tate.
Well, and that's what they do, but as I said, they fell into a buzzsaw, but they also, and I can't look away from that offensive rebounding by Wisconsin and lack of defensive rebounding by Ohio State. Ohio State is not quitting, no, not at all, but they don't pay attention to what they need to do. And when you let down against a really good team, they're going to hurt you. They're going to hurt you good, and they've hurt them tonight. Offensive rebound, post passes, and then the three-point shot.
Let's remind you, Saturday, noon Eastern on ESPN. It's a Sonic blockbuster game, Duke and Louisville from the Yum Center. Join us Saturday, noon Eastern, ESPN, streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. And on Ohio State, they're 0-3 for the first time since '98 in the Big Ten. You know what they did the next year? You remember?
Had a pretty good year, if I remember correctly.
They did. They ended up losing in the national semifinals. Somebody sent them home. You know who that was? I think it might have been you.
I think we played them, Michael Reds, not that I remember, Scooty Pan,
right.
And we were fortunate enough to go on and win a national championship against a great Duke team.
That was in lovely Tampa, right?
You got to be careful, excuse me, but you got to be careful right here. And I love the way the officials jumped in. They make a big deal of it, but there's some frustration going on, and you have to be a little bit careful and find good legal play.
Preventative.
I keep saying that. Stop waiting to call a foul. Tell them, knock it off, and you're not going to be in. And that's no big deal. I mean, both teams are competitive, and nobody wants to see anything happen. But I'd yell at the officials if stuff got rough in a game like this.
Would you really?
Well,
I don't remember that.
Yeah, quite a bit. I thought, once again, I've said this too many times before, but I thought it was my obligation to help my fellow man.
I like that you have such a philanthropic heart. I really do.
I don't think anybody should use that word.
Uh-huh.
I don't remember the last time Pat Driscoll said you have a philanthropic heart.
Kick into the corner. 3 won't fall for Jackson. And here comes Wisconsin.
Even what I call, I don't like the word garbage, but kind of mess up time in some ways, because it's really hard to stay concentrated, both teams. But I'm just watching.
They're running their stuff.
They're running their stuff wonderfully. And the other thing they're doing, everybody's in position to rebound on the defensive end.
Off the Koenig miss. Here comes Cam Williams. The pull-up wouldn't go, and Pritzel's going to get called for the reach-in.
By the way, let me give you a Pritzel story. Pritzel's the kid that was hurt.
Can we do it after the commercial?
We were more than happy to do it because it looks like we have plenty of time.
We're going to step aside. Pritzel story coming back after this. Another Jim Calhoun tease tonight. in his basketball game. You were talking about Pritzl before he stepped aside.
Yeah, a kid who's now broken his foot twice. I was there actually at the practice at Syracuse for the game up there last year at the Dome. And, you know, they were concerned because they said, this kid is going to be a really good scorer. Wisconsin kid, but can really score. Well, he's just back now in the sense he's starting to get ready. And Greg Gard tells me, Coach, he's one of the better, just pure scorers on our team. He's going to be able to help us.
There's a steal and a foul as Wesson goes to the rim. And on Pritzl, you know, Brevin Pritzl, the first time he broke his foot, he was doing it stepping off a curb here on campus. He was just walking around, steps off a curb the wrong way, and ends up with a broken foot.
Yeah, and that can happen to anybody. But if that happens twice, I'm sure they're going to be very careful with that foot because obviously most young kids, seems like me, can bend themselves like a pretzel.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Wow, it's getting
like
late early.
It is. But the point being is that, yeah, sorry. Sorry about that. Okay, Bonnie, please. Everybody.
You're getting a little salty tonight, you know?
Well, I'm just, it's one of those nights. It's a sentimental night. I watched Biden this afternoon cry. Obama the night before
You're
cry.
getting sentimental.
I'm getting sentimental for no reason. But anyways, he's got a chance to be a very good player. They want to get him back as quick. By the way,
Yep.
the kids coming off the bench tonight before this thing really turned ugly have made a really good impression.
Yeah, they were 9-0 off the bench. Wisconsin was in the first half.
Yep. And the other, 17-0 now off the bench.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, but the other thing is, you notice they run the same stuff?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You know, everybody has different kind of teams, and obviously
Hill made it look easy there.
He did. Hill's actually played very well tonight, early even. When he came in early, JC, he played very well. You know, the deeper they can go with guys that can score it, because they're going to run the system, they are going to play defense, and generally speaking, being a very good rebounding team.
Here's an amazing number for you on the Badgers as Thompson goes to work. Wisconsin, 16 years in a row, has been in the top 4 in the Big Ten standings. 16 straight years.
Well, Bo Ryan was a terrific coach, really good guy. Got to know him later in both of our careers. But you know, he did. I mean, he silently was one of the better coaches of our generation, and didn't really get much credit for it.
For a Wisconsin school that, you know, under Dick Bennett started to grow, but they didn't have much of a history at all before Bo Ryan.
But they had a couple pretty good. If you look at that list, Finley and some of the other, they had a lot of good players here. And I'll tell you what, and you and I both talked about this. Come to this arena, it's a pretty special place.
It is.
It really is. And the campus, right, you know, everything's very accessible. This is a terrific college basketball atmosphere.
And as you walk around, it feels like the prototypical college town.
It does. You know, it doesn't give you the feeling that you're in a pro arena. This has that feel size-wise, but certainly doesn't have that feeling otherwise.
Iverson goes 1 for 2. Khalil Iverson, the sophomore Ohio native. 4 players for Wisconsin. 4 of the top 9 are from Ohio, playing against the hometown Buckeyes. Tate for 2.
I told you before, the power guard. I think what's going to happen for Ohio State, the obvious. But, you know, you lose to a Purdue, you lose to Wisconsin, you're losing to arguably 2 of the best, 2 or 3 best teams. And you're going to have to go back and regroup and find a way to get wins.
The question is, how do you do that?
Well, you know, like anything else.
This run a little bit?
I've always felt, and I've said this before, this is the first time I saw them this year against a team called UConn, and who they beat by 4, that you got to find a way. You just can't say, well, we don't have a way. You got a way. I mean, it's going to be perfect? No.
Koenig unselfish.
I'll tell you one thing they can do. They can tighten up. Mentally tighten up. I think they have good athletes. Are they as skilled or deep? No, they aren't. Do they have some obstacles? Without question.
You think a focus issue maybe? There's 2 and a foul for Thompson.
Yeah, I think it's a big focus issue. You get a kid like Thompson in the middle. You got some good power guards, and the fact they can do good things, they can do some good things. They're just going to have to find better ways. I guess the word, can't turn it over a lot. They're going to have to be better with the ball.
Well, tell me, when does it get easier?
It won't. It'll only get tougher. But
well, that's not good news.
No, but they're Ohio State. Dad Mars is a terrific coach. He's won at least 10 games, I think, in the league for the past 14 years. I mean, Ohio State's not going away anyplace. They've got to concentrate, find ways. You know, and that's going to be every day in practice. I'll guarantee you, he's going to fight like crazy.
You know, people say, Coach, this is on the hot seat, or this coach, or that coach. Thad Matta has won about 75% of his games at Ohio State.
If you take the top 15 coaches in America, Thad Matta's name's going to be there, you know?
Yep.
I mean, he's done it for a long period of time. Obviously, he's a great representative of Ohio State, and he wins. I mean, is this year and last year typical of what he's done? No. But the guy still wins.
There's Thomas for two. Charlie Thomas.
And you don't have to be the most popular coach anywhere to be good. But he gives you the rare ability to be a tremendous person, really good basketball coach, and a proven winner.
Got him to the national final.
Yeah, and that's
less than a decade ago.
Those three are the great criteria anybody would like to have as a coach. I mean, Ohio State just needs, not necessarily different players, they just need more of what they have.
Pretzel plays pinball over the rim.
It seems to me the fans know exactly what we said before.
Thad Matta working hard on the sideline tonight after a doubleheader. College hoops. Dave and Bill will have Arizona-bound college hoops. Sports Center at night. Kevin Connors, John Anderson, highlights and breakdowns of college basketball, everything around sports. Sports Center at night after SMU Cincinnati on ESPN. Our doubleheader game is that Arizona State-Arizona game. Bill Walton was in a canoe, I saw on Twitter. Who knows where that's going to go?
Bill Walton's been in a canoe for quite some time, actually. Oh, no, this is world. I'm sorry. Bill Walton has been in his own world. There is no one, and he's one of my favorite people of all time.
Nobody has put it any better about what they do.
Well, where is he living if it's not a canoe?
Bill Walton's been in a canoe for a long time, says Jim Calhoun. Wisconsin up big.
If you ever have a knock, and have a knock on Leonard, he's done a wonderful job. But they weren't a creative offensive team. But this team, because they play 10 people, they have a much better feel about how to score the ball. And I'll tell you one thing, their athleticism and 10-man rotation, they're a tough out for anybody. By the way, they had a sold-out gym. I know it sounds funny for ACC, but they don't always do that there.
That's right, at Tucker Center.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Well, 10 teams right now, according to Joe Lunardi, in the field, and his latest bracketology is D'Mitrik Trice turns the corner for Wisconsin.
You know, these games, I used to take the tape at the last 8 minutes like this and make sure I didn't watch.
If you're the leading team even, is what you're saying?
Yeah, what do I get out of this? I don't want to know if you can make a basket. Can you take us from 31 to 33? Yeah. I mean, that's not exactly the measuring point of your career. So it's not that I just dissuade everything. You still have a basketball game. But at this particular point, with this particular score, it's just not going to help you now. It should help the kids on the floor. That's not my point to you. My point is, let's keep running our stuff. Not going to be perfect. How many times now has Ohio State in the past 7 or 8 minutes, 6 minutes, whatever it may be, got to the paint, which they couldn't do before? So it's not really telling us who we are. But for the guys who haven't played quite as much, it's good for them.
I was going to say, you can learn about your subs.
More individual than collective. I don't want to make this a scope or a picture of who we are tonight. They haven't left the lead. They want to increase the lead. They're playing as well as they can. And these guys need to work. Nice shuffle cut again. Hard pass.
Rare turnover. Wisconsin only turned it over once in half number one.
You know, good pass, bad pass. I used to always say, you know what a good pass is? When the guy catches it. You know, really, honestly.
Simple, isn't it?
Well, it really is. I mean, you put a kid in tough position, or he doesn't have great hands, you got to make sure you put the ball where you can catch it.
Shot fake and a drive and blocked away against the Wisconsin big, Van Vliet. You see the shirts that Wisconsin is wearing. They all say number 8 on them. That is for 1950s star Ab Nicholas, who was honored at halftime here at the Kohl Center. In fact, they're going to name the court after him as of today.
What a great ceremony. How much class was that? The man has been a great player here, an All-American, an All-Big Ten player. Gave $100 million to his university thus far. His family's involved. I'd say all 17,000 people stood up. It was a pretty special ceremony. I mean, he's giving back to his university.
You've seen a lot of those types of ceremonies.
Yeah.
People weren't leaving. They weren't going to the concession stand. They were watching.
Nobody was getting popcorn, and that's a big deal, you know. But you know, we said it, Chase. When you're here, and certainly there's plenty of other schools like this, but this is kind of getting up to that top level of how they feel about their school, how they feel about their program, and it shows in everything they do.
Wisconsin about to hit 16 straight home wins here at the Kohl Center, where they win 87% of the time. Bronson Koenig with 21 in the game. Off the spin, Trice left it short.
Legs aren't quite strong enough to make that shot. I remember Kimball Walker didn't have that as a freshman. By the time he was a junior, he more than had that.
Oh, Potter throwing a shoulder into Van Vliet. It's raked away at the end line and a whistle.
Now, I might just me trying to bring a little humor to the game. So the officials saying, "You guys have a 10:07 tonight," because I didn't see any calls late.
Can I do a promo real quick?
Please do.
Do you mind?
Saturday
noon Eastern. Grayson Allen and Duke. Rick Pitino in Louisville. It's a sonic blockbuster from the Yum Center on ESPN and on the Watch ESPN app. Thank you. I appreciate your blessing.
By the way, is your teammates messing with me right now?
Who?
Back in the truck.
In the truck? My teammates.
I think Bonnie.
You're with them all year long.
That's true. That's true. And they're wonderful people.
You got accusatory. Now they're wonderful people.
Well,
Hill is fouled out, by the way.
You reminded me I was going to be with them all year. And so I do have other games.
Ah, yes.
And you run away from us. I don't know.
I'm sorry. I will be in Louisville, actually, with your friend and mine, Dan Dockich, next week.
That should be a heck of a game.
Off the shot fake. Here's a drive from Thomas off the find, and he gets a round of applause.
By the way, you know, they're creatures of habit, aren't we? Lift fake, bounce pass to the post. Guess what? We saw that in the first minute of play.
They can't stop themselves.
Well, they can't, and I think it's got to do with them. I think when we have to look at this, there's clearly home court, bigger and stronger, more physical, and they have more, not better players necessarily, more good players without question on Wisconsin's team. They won tonight because they executed wonderfully, great game plan.
Greg Gard told us both he wanted some more production from the bench. He got 31 points off the bench tonight.
He got very good production. And the biggest thing, you know what they remind me of tonight? They remind me of Wisconsin.
Yep.
They played the way Wisconsin wanted to play. 2 hours of practice yesterday, talking an hour with Greg afterwards. This is how they want to play, and boy, they're good at it. And when they play like this, they're really good.
Lost by 11 to Purdue, 66-55 on Sunday. They hang up nearly 90 in this one.
Yeah, and you know, and they're doing it in every different way. They ran, rebounded the heck out of the basketball, post play, second chance points. They've played terrific. I mean, there's no way fans buts us. You know, that's going to go back. Ohio State's going to regroup, but they know tonight they just got whipped. I mean, they got beat good by a terrific basketball team, who, by the way, played exactly the way they wanted to play. They did all the things they can do.
They will get a rematch on February 23rd. First time in the last 4 years they've been playing twice in one season.
And you and I both know that a lot of things will happen over the next 5 weeks before the game's played. But I do like Wisconsin's team. And, you know, when you see a team at its best, you have an idea somewhat what they can be. Well, they can be really, really good and be a top 10 team without question.
15 from Nigel Hayes, who you saw on the bench. 21 for Koenig. 12 for Vito Brown in spurts tonight. One last possession for the Badgers. Kritzel couldn't finish. One turnover in the first half set the tone for the way this is going to go.
Yeah, it did. And, you know, we talk about efficiency, and too many people look too much at that, but they were efficient and terrific.
89-66, your final score. Wisconsin picks up the victory. Win number 14 and a 16th straight victory at the Kohl Center. Impressive performance, Coach.
They were awfully good, no doubt in my mind. They did a terrific job. And as I said, when you see a practice and then see the game play out the same way, you know there's an accent. It's a really good team playing the way they're capable of playing.
Beautifully done by Wisconsin. 89-66 your final score. Arizona State, Arizona coming up. But first, we send it back to the college basketball studio. Chris